Okay, so welcome back to our continuing lessons in magic here on the channel. And today I'm going to be showing you the last of my magic coins for at least a little while. What I have here, I don't know if you could call this a silver talent. I'm not that talented, huh? But this is definitely a talisman showing the rat. And I'm connected to the rat. We have Mr. Rattington here as well to back us up today because I'm born in the year of the rat. And so this talisman is actually also an astrological talisman. And if you remember from our previous discussions on lessons in magic about in the beginning, right, you'll remember that in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth, right, at the same time, right? And he put into the heavens the stars and the sun and the moon, right? And so what we have here is actually, this is called a symbolic representation. This is called the Ba Gua, the heavenly eight trigrams. You'll see the lines. There's eight symbols around the center, right? And they're supposed to represent sort of like fundamental elements of the human psyche in a certain way as well. Uh, just symbolically, if I were to say that the two halves of the yin yang, the bagua as well, represent two halves of your brain, right? The two halves of your psyche, right? And the eight fundamental realities that your brain is dealing with at any one time. But we'll get into more discussions about that stuff later. What I really wanted to focus on was actually the animals, right? And so we have a representation here of the complete Chinese zodiac with the rat at the top, because the rat is the first in the zodiac. There's actually a story about how the rat tricks the ox to give it a ride. They're all supposed to race against each other, and the rat rides on the ox's shoulder across the river and jumps off first on the other side in heaven, and so he wins the race and he's the first animal. That's why he's associated with the top in heaven. That's a symbol for heaven as far as I understand. Right? Maybe it's a symbol for the earth, maybe that one's for heaven. Heaven with the horse. I could be wrong. Yeah. And then the sequence goes ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, pig, and then back to rat again. And what's interesting about that is that there's 12 animals, and we kind of associate 12 with a bunch of different things. We also have our 12 months of the year. The day is split into 12-hour segments, right? Your clock goes up to 12, right? There's a bunch of reasons why logically we came to 12 as the number. And when we were reading about the beginning last time, we kind of left it off. We'll go back and I'll read a little bit more, right? This is here 20. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly upon the earth, and the open firmament of heaven. And God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the fowl multiply in the earth. and the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And God said, Let the earth bring forth a living creature after his kind, cattle, and the creeping thing, and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. Okay, so we've gotten up to, we haven't quite gotten to the point where God has created man, right? That's the next one, right? So just the section on creating the animals, right? And what I'm going to suggest is that just like the beginning of the story was a symbolic representation of the Ba Gua, the creation of the heaven and the earth at once, and the placing into the stars in the sky and all that, that there's actually, when they're talking about kinds, each animal after its kind, that they're actually referencing a specific thing about animals in this case, about the 12 animals that they have. And it actually has to do with the fact that they're representations of a logical sequence that they used back in the day, almost like a computer system, to record information and understand the universe around them. And that's why all the systems came to that 12 number. It has the same thing to do with what I was talking about in our last lessons in magic, about when you start cataloging all of the things that the kingdom is capable of producing, that you eventually run out of things. And so I believe that the full number, two of each kind, when they say that they're going to put them in the ark, this is why we're concerned about how many kinds of animals there are, and two of each kind, right? What I think that means is that there's actually 48. I think that if I was to represent it with decks of cards or tarot cards or anything else, I would need the initial set of 12 and then a pair to go with that set of 12. So that's 24. But each kind, right? We have a bunch of other places where kindness shows up in our language. And I think it's from a logical perspective, it's almost like 12 good with the good and evil aspect and 12 bad with the good and evil aspect. So there's 48. It's sort of like there's the 12 good ones and the 12 bad ones. And each of them can kind of be, in your favor or out of your favor. And we kind of look at them as solidified as 12, right? But each of them, like when we were looking at the first tarot card, the Fool, each of the corners represented something different. Or how when I was talking about paradoxes, right? You've got paradoxes like built into the system already. Like paradoxically, there's an equal and opposite animal for each of the ones on here, almost like a color wheel, right? It's like we already have an understanding that like these two things balance each other out in the universe, these two forces, right? And these are like the two ends of the spectrum, right? And the spectrum goes through the Ba Gua. It goes through like it's like everything is connected, right? And that's why once again it's a visual representation of everything in the universe, right? And so that's what that is symbolically supposed to represent. And so I'm not just a theoretical ninja. I can actually teach you some of the theory too. But just some interesting stuff, just because I happen to have it on hand and stuff that I feel like not many people understand or know about or appreciate quite the same way. And just thought I could bring a little bit of insight into what I understand about this so that as we continue and we continue to look at symbolic representations of things, especially continuing with the stories that are in here, uh, we might be able to get a better understanding of what exactly it is trying to talk about. So, yeah, just some fun stuff, guys. If you like that, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, share, all the fun stuff, and join me for more. I'm going to be doing some restorations of little bits and pieces here coming up. But yeah, if you guys want me to do some more magic at some point, which I'm sure we'll get into, I still have to get back to the tarot cards. So yeah, we'll see you again for more of that next time. But yeah, have a good one, guys.